Okay, so let's just say that you have all this data here that you want to make some sense of. What this is looking at is a list of countries from 1991 to late 2000s, and we're looking at the percentage of people 15 or above that are employed. So what's the percentage employment rate? Now, there's a ton of data here, and we want to be able to make sense of it, and that is going to be one of the big tasks of this class, which is data analysis and being able to communicate results. So, we're going to look at the following things. While Excel is an amazing tool, and we'll be doing a lot of work with Excel, we also want to be able to use Mathematica here to take in this Excel file, and then once we have that Excel file, we've talked about box plots, so we want to look at how we can make a box plot looking at just a specific column of data, and then we want to be able to label our charts well, and then Mathematica produces really great graphics, so it's important that we be able to export them. Okay, so most of you are new to Mathematica. This will take a little bit of time, but what we're going to do is open up a new notebook. So you'd open up a notebook. These are your options. So you want a notebook, and just a little bit about a helpful thing when programming. If you haven't done any programming before, this is slightly different from other languages. But if you do parentheses star, everything inside here is just notes. So it's not really doing anything. It's just a nice way for us to remember what we're trying to do. So we want to get data from an Excel sheet, so we're going to say we're going to define A to be the data, and so then we need to import that data. So import anything that has a capital letter here. If it turns black, that means it's a function that Mathematica understands. So this is a function that Mathematica has defined to go in and take a file and put it into Mathematica, and this is really nice because there's a function where we can just insert. So we want to insert a file path. I found that Mathematica typically works better importing CSV files than Excel files, so you might need to convert your Excel into a CSV. These are all important things to be able to do, so you would just export your Excel file. So I'm going to take a large data set. It's not very well named, and it's a CSV, and I'm going to import it. And then to run this command, you press Shift Enter. And now it has all of this data. So that it doesn't really bog us down, I'm gonna click here and then delete, so that we're not looking at that. But now A has all of that data. So if I were to call on A, it would be able to return all of the data of all those countries and populations. Great. So next thing I want to do is I don't want to look at all of this data. So let's say that I just wanted to look at the year 1991. I wanted to focus on what are the employment rates during that specific year. So we notice that we have all the way down to 179 rows. So what I want to do is I want to define a new variable called year 1991. And 1991 is going to be, so equals, it's defined to be, it's taking values from A, so all my data, and this notation here, what that's saying is it goes rows and then columns. So I'm going to take the rows from 2 all the way up to 179, and then I want to look at the second column. So what that's going to do is it's going to look at all of this data here, from row 2 all the way to row 179. And then I use a semicolon to say I want a new command, and I'm going to define this new value, year 1992, which is the next column over. So now I'm going from row 2 to row 179, and I'm using my third column. So if I press Shift Enter, now I'm looking at specific data. Okay, so this is great. So the last thing that I want to do, well, I guess the next thing that I want to do, I'm going to define let me delete that. I'm starting a new line. So I'm going to make a box and whisker chart, and we talked about what that is today in class. And so what this command does, Mathematica knows how to generate a box and whisker chart, and you now know how to do it by hand. But it's nice to get a computer-generated graphic. So with this, it's going to make a box and whisker chart. It's actually going to make two, because what I'm doing is I'm going to say use the data from 1991 and from 1992. So that's calling upon what we defined in that last step. And then what I'm doing here is I'm saying let's label the charts so that the first data from year 1991 is called 1991, and from year 1992 is called year 1992. And so then what we're going to do is just press Shift Enter, and it's going to generate a really nice graphic. Now, one thing that I was struggling with earlier is that the graphics don't. It's not easy to put them into a Google Doc or into a Pages or Microsoft Word. So what we need to do is we need to export this image. So this last little work is to how to get an image and export it into something that's usable. So I say, export, and then we could name it anything. So box plot 1991 to 1992, and I want to save it as a JPEG. So I'm telling Mathematica this is the type of file that I want. I want it as a JPEG, and then so I'm exporting this, and what I'm exporting is the same thing that I just generated. It's that graphic that's right here. So we're going to press Shift Enter, and so now I've created this box plot that's a JPEG. Well, what do you want to do? You want to open it. So let's open that. And here's my graphic right here. So things that I can do, I'll just I can copy that graphic, and then I can go into any sort of word processor and be able to use that as an image. Okay, so what we did, we imported an Excel file. We made a box plot using only parts of the data set, so we just looked at 1991 and 1992. We labeled the charts, so we made sure that those labels existed, and then we were able to export the graphics. Thank you.